So, one of the most irritating aspects of these mental health constellation of symptoms is any little change in like physical exertion or a change in environment, and it's triggered. But because I wasn't whatever, I guess because I'm like high functioning or whatever, it was never seen as, well, you're not allowed to use that as a defense. And like my cousin was just asking me in her vehicle as I was setting her shit up after finished setting her shit back up in her office. She was like, "Don't you need proof of the claims you're making?" And I'm like, "Well, unless Tammy and Tina and Tracy or the Kentucky State Police destroyed those sex tapes, then the proof's right there." The proof should be there. And unless Michael Fogelman and his buddies destroyed more evidence and obstruction in the Mason County house after Kim Razor signed that piece of paper, I noticed Mr. Fogelman's business card and his personal number was missing too. So, shall I talk more about banking with Citizens Deposit and his sister in law? I've had it up to here with the medical gaslighting covering those sick pieces of fucking rapey shit. Not the Fogelmans. My family. I've had it up to fucking here with the medical gaslighting covering those sick pieces of rapist fucking shit in my family. And Kim Razor's writing on that firearms prohibition. Facts to KSP. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Take the goddamn firearms. I hate guns. A firearms prohibition was the stupidest way to do what you did. No offense. Especially with the federal appeals court siding with people like me, at least in Cincinnati. Judges and now sitting judges doing sex crimes, and then their, peers and friends coming after the kids for talking about it. I never meant for any of my things to come across as threatening. They were taken out of context, which plays a big part in what is said. What do you think the intentions were when those people bludgeoned me, raped it, and recorded it? Goodwill? Kim Razor's message to me was, I don't have a right to defend myself against my rapists, which is fine. I never would use a gun on someone. I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't. It's not who I am. But you all go right ahead and make a mockery of it. I suffered immensely from those antipsychotics and decades of fucking psychotropic pharmaceuticals just to keep their goddamn sorry asses covered. All these things that I talked about, and Stockton Wood never did a damn thing filing charges. Oh well, not to my recollection anyway. So if time isn't a resource, let me explain the 72-hour psych hold thing again. So we have Erica Michelle Crawford, like this, with Julie Allen and her kids, with the date rape bars downtown, and Kentuckians for Medicinal Marijuana, accepting funding from child porn producing, human trafficking pieces of fucking county attorney shit, and then donating resources to Kim Razor's campaign. What in the hell am I missing here? The Crawfords can't afford to pay their electric bill with his disability payments, but they can afford to drive a brand new Charger every how many years? Just like Michelle Crawford, publicly stating CBD oil is totally legal. We do not have laced cannabis products in Mason County. What fucking planet do you live on? How much do they fucking throw your all's way? It better not be coming out of what I donate. No offense, but that's a load of shit. Eric Crawford. Boo-hoo. Feels like you're living in a tornado all the time? Well, welcome to my goddamn mobile world. Being bludgeoned and raped by the same goddamn pieces of shit you all kiss ass to. Oh well. Anyway, like I stated, we left the house, went to the office, reset up the equipment there, and now I'm at home having a panic attack, and something just happened to my dialect as well. I just noticed it. Post stroke. I don't feel like taking any more goddamn Valium for a while. Maybe if people didn't get so offended so easily, they always believe something is targeted at them, like when the cops or a doctor ask questions and it's like you're not listening. Comprehend was famous for that, let me tell you. That's not what happened. Well, you know what? Tell them to pull up their body camera footage that didn't exist then and refute my statement. Now, do you understand why the dumbasses finally decided to get body cameras? It wasn't because they couldn't afford them. Not with all the goddamn taxation and theft in that fucking area. It was simply because they didn't want the people to know which cops were dealing what and fucking who. Now, shall I describe Mr. Boggs' body in a little more goddamn detail? Do you know how fucking offensive it was being thrown in Eastern State on suicide-causing medication? Having a fucking sitting judge ejaculate on your face when you were a child, and it recorded, possibly? I know I was recorded jerking off by his uncle, so I don't think my language is any bearing on anything other than some entitled piece of shit. So thank fucking you. Now, shall I go back over the physicians who touched me inappropriately? Or is Kim Razor's goddamn signature gonna limit that fucking statement as well? Ugh. And you know what? There was a little bit of truth and anger in that one. It wasn't all involuntary. You can normally tell when it's involuntary or not. If it seems very random and haphazard, it's probably involuntary. Like when I woke up with her ringing the bell needing help after her craniotomy or whatever it was. Shit, fuck, god damn it. Just came out. Just fucking came out. And guess what? Nobody likes that language either. But you know, when you say it's Tourette's syndrome, then they think, oh, well, what goddamn difference does that make? Well, you're opening the taxpayer up to a huge fucking liability by not educating yourself, for starters. I get tired of that sick shit too. Just because someone becomes explanatory and maybe a little bit defensive doesn't make them wrong. You should know the law if you're going to uphold it. But like I said, those cops don't care. They open the taxpayer up to liabilities by the minute. And guess what? Like I said, they get to take boots off their taxes. They get to take makeup off their taxes. They get to take hair products off their taxes. They have to maintain an appearance. So while they claim that, you know, they're helping pay for the shit they create, they're not. They write almost everything off that they can. So they don't pay the taxes we pay. I went into cosmetology for a while. Makeup? Wow. Makeup and hair products. And able to take it off on taxes too. So you see, I explain the truth behind their bullshit. They don't like that either. I noticed Lisa Geary changed her at no cost to the taxpayer greeting. So I'm sorry if it feels like I've taken this a little too personally. Stockton and I are related, thanks to Donald and Debbie. And I know everything that went on around there. People think I was granted leniency? You don't have a fucking clue. It wasn't leniency. They just did everything under the table. And it was even more hell. But I guess I should be grateful that I had access to case files and could try to help people, like the McLean and Woodward cases out of MCDC. They failed to follow administrative protocol. There is no goddamn administrative protocol in that piece of shit facility. They withheld Seroquel from an inmate the day before transport just so he would be wilder and they could fuck him up. How do I know that? Hell, Donald represented the dumbasses. Withholding blood pressure medicine for no goddamn reason. How stupid can they be? So, shall we talk about the administrative law judge in Fayette County? Or the federal court in Fayette County that ruled withholding a controlled substance used for is excessive force, much like David Abner withholding my anticonvulsant Lyrica. These things weigh heavy on my heart because, believe it or not, I actually give a shit. Methadone, the most dangerous replacement on the market, and that's what Mason County offers. They should follow Hamilton County Detention Center or whatever it's called. Follow their example. Contract Suboxone. It's safer. You can't vomit it up and then redistribute it. When I heard that case of people doing that, I thought, what in the goddamn hell has the world come to in this moment? People taking that liquid methadone, then vomiting it up and redistributing it. What in the goddamn hell? And they bitch about me and cannabis. You know what? Governor Beshear needs to sign the goddamn executive order and be done with it, especially after the story I talked about concerning some of his board members on that cannabis commission. Mountain Comprehensive, that psychiatrist told me he was on Oxy for his back pain, if I heard him correctly. And then he switched me to Topamax and some other psych med. And like I stated with their thing, at least in Mason County, they had at least 8 of those little pamphlet holder things. Nothing but addiction. Shouldn't you all have some literature about what mental health problems can cause addiction as well? You all just suck up state and federal funding, wasting it when it can be used on programs that actually help. Granted, I don't particularly agree with a vending machine, but at the same time, the Biden administration, has it right. We're willing to help you people without fucking throwing your asses in jail, but at least you can pay, $1 for a clean needle. It's a start. I read about that sheriff in whatever county in Kentucky, the first one. He said that thing was empty from Narcan, and maybe it was the Narcan one, was empty within a day. But anyway, if you all haven't heard about that, when the Biden administration plans on doing vending type machines with like clean needles and that type of thing, and I agree with it. Needle exchange programs should not be frowned upon. Yeah, it might sound sick, but it saves tax dollars in the long run. That's all people complain about, people on the welfare system. Well, then think of ways to help your fellow man like the goddamn Bible talks about. And quit bitching about what you think is inappropriate and immoral, and those drug addicts just don't help themselves. Well, let's think about here. I hate to associate it with it, but Officer Justin Merrill. How many times were you tackled to the point you were injured in high school on the football team? Not trying to insinuate you do drugs or anything. I'm simply asking how many times were you tackled to the point of injury in football in high school? Probably still hurts, doesn't it? I notice you drink off duty and talk about it, which you really shouldn't do. That's just free legal advice. But anyway, using Officer Merrill as an example. He's not here, he can't answer me. I'm assuming he got injured at least once. Hurts like hell, doesn't it? So somebody, these rich white kids or whatever, rich kids, just wanting to do drugs for the hell of it. I'm bored. Who fucking who? Somebody who's been mashed by a vehicle or something and in so much pain they want to die, but the state won't allow them to die because they don't consider it a terminal illness. Those cases should be looked at a little bit less like, you know what? It's called discretion. We can let it slide. That's another reason I don't agree with minimum mandatory sentencing. Yeah, I deserved at least 4 days when I got in trouble for driving under the influence of alcohol. They were going to let me go after writing them a check. Well, forgive me for complaining. I get tired of this systematic racist bullshit. Homophobia and transphobia and xenophobia and misogyny, and it's all nothing but a load of shit. Not that the women are any better, no offense. I'm a very opinionated person, I always have been. That's why most of my husbands enjoyed my company. Then again, there were the ones of them that were old school gay men, and not older old school gay men, just old school gay men, kind of like me. I'm not always this upset and anxious, but I am the breadwinner, not me, but the husband. I am the breadwinner. I supply the home. You will clean and cook and care for the children and massage my feet at night. I've been with men like that too. It doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. I'm a very affectionate person when I feel like it. And that doesn't mean sex. There is non sexual and sexual touch. And that's truly all I'm really comfortable with. I couldn't even stand being hugged by my own mother. You can ask her about me pushing her away from me when she came up to, feel all over me and touch me and shit. And I'm like, get away from me. I don't want to be touched by you. What don't you fucking understand? Especially with your sick fucking message of we all have our place in the lake of fire with your OVFD buddies claiming there is no stop, drop, and roll in hell, and that, I really was killed by you as an infant, and all these people are just, angels. How fucking sick can they be? Yes, you're entitled to believe what you want to believe. You are not entitled to harm other people with it. They want to point the finger at me and say, you're bullying people, you're outing people, you're narking on people. You all don't have a clue about these fucking people. I am honest to a letter, especially about being coerced into doing things that I didn't want to do. But I didn't have a choice. I wasn't going to take a bullet to the head that day, that particular day. Now, who the fuck cares? My own goddamn family and their fucking dummies in the judicial district saying, you know what? Your mouth. We don't believe it's Tourette's. Well, you're not physicians, are you? And the physicians who were mishandling me inappropriately, helping cover for the people who had done child porn. I do think you should sit and listen. I'm not going to sit and scream at you, but if I do raise my voice, it's to notate how upset I am. I get tired of breaking down crying. You can ask anyone that was at my father's visitation and funeral. It's a wonder I didn't die from crying. I am tired of crying about it. Absolutely tired of crying about it, but I'm not going to do vigilante shit, because what in the goddamn hell is the point of that? I'm not wasting any more of my time on their dumbasses. No offense, no disrespect. Those assholes didn't even make sure that we were okay when we were younger. They didn't give a damn. Case in point example, Debbie calling down at the house at 4:15. Where the hell are you? Get your ass up here and start mowing this yard. Well, I was raped in the goddamn school district, and I prefer to use the public or private restroom even though mom or dad usually walk in. Calm your fucking sick ass down. Maybe if you and Donald hadn't started all this goddamn shit, it wouldn't have escalated to this point. Covering for Dad like he was God. Me begging for help and you all just sitting there telling me to shut up and get used to it. That I needed to be put to work. So huge thanks to the county attorney and their goddamn lot of fucking perverts, human trafficking people. There's a big difference in transporting an adult inmate from facility to facility versus human trafficking a child in forced labor and pornography productions. A huge fucking difference. So you all sit and argue that it wasn't human trafficking all you want. I was left permanently disabled, only for them to cry about their yard not getting mowed quickly enough. Taylor and Karen sitting there like the fucking dumbasses they are. I don't have to be polite. It's a choice. The energy that you express to me is what you get in return. Sitting there like you didn't know a damn thing, well, then you're going to get spoken to like an idiot. You won't tolerate it? Well, I'm obviously not tolerating what happened, am I? Especially when the goddamn healthcare cost us out the fucking ass. Maybe I will take another half of the Valium. Well, I probably should switch from the hybrid to the indica. Maybe that would help too. People think when I speak aggressively that it's threatening. Well, if you listen to any good board meeting, somebody, is trying to express their point of view, they get a little bit loud. But of course, it's not my house, not my rules. So if somebody gets upset, they act like it's the end of the world. Well, it was always the end of the world for me, unfortunately. Failing to acknowledge the trauma so that it can be processed is the worst thing you can do for a victim. Covering it up with medications is bad enough. Because you know what that teaches people to do? To turn to drugs. Like I said, these fucking dumbass physicians, some of whom touch me inappropriately, claim they don't know how the medications work. They work by causing disinhibition. Unless they're the antipsychotics, they work by tranquilizing. I don't think we should be causing disinhibition in our children and sending the message that doing drugs is okay. They're pharmaceuticals. It's okay. That's how the whole goddamn opioid epidemic got so fucking blown out of proportion by the people, involved in it. They're prescription drugs. It's different. No, it's not. I skipped my medication when I could, because I hated taking it. I hated being sedated. I liked pain management, obviously, but the side effects weren't worth it. But then skipping a dose to try to, have a bowel movement and then going through withdrawal from them, it was too much of a goddamn nightmare. So thank you all for causing this, permanent injury and all this other goddamn painful shit as well. Only to sit and bitch that I don't work hard enough. My house doesn't have to be spotless. Here, she likes it cleaner than I prefer, but, that's her right. I don't have to have things spotless. I like things in their place organized, because if somebody comes knocking saying, you know what, we want to see proof of what you're talking about, I like to be able to go to my filing cabinets or desk and be able to pull it right out of where it is. Because I get tired. They make me nervous as hell. Not because I feel like I'm in the wrong, they just make me nervous. I've been raped I don't know how many times by that situation for no reason at all. The worst times is when I had to pretend to enjoy it just so I didn't die. But like I said, all women know how to fake it. But and also, like I said, nothing's more humiliating than trying to describe being forced to eat pussy as a gay man. But nobody wants to talk about those disgusting details. Oh, I think I'm only supposed to use this 4 times a day, but I think I'm up to only 3 times, so I'm okay. Albuterol. Really think I should be doing the nebulizer, larger dosages, but like I said, I skipped out on pulmonology because I didn't feel like burdening her into taking more time off, and I didn't feel like driving to the appointment and going through even more bullshit. I get tired of it. And I'm going to pause it for just a second because I am going to take a Valium, and I really don't feel like showing that on video. Yeah, like I said, let's see, the controlled substances in here. This Percocet prescription is 7 months old, almost 7 months old. Almost. There's still some in it. This Valium prescription is 3 months old. Still plenty in it. I don't abuse my medication until some pieces of fucking rapist shit end up telling somebody I'm a liar, and then I'm called a liar. Like I said, that Percocet prescription's 7 months old, and there's still some in it. But yeah, you all go right ahead and call it drug addiction. That bludgeoning, being smothered and yanked around by my legs, hurt like hell, and it still does. Now, she was sick. She had a chemical in. I don't give a goddamn about what her health was when they would spray industrial strength pyrethrins in my face and withhold albuterol. Now, that's fucking sick. But you all go right ahead and claim you don't have to read me my rights or hear my side of the story when that goddamn department and their fucking junkie friends were coming into that house when she wasn't even home, causing him property damage and making me feel threatened to the point of covering that for them too. Oh, but you all didn't want to hear that. Didn't want to hear that. No, that's not how it happened. Yeah, Patrick never said that. Right. Oh well. So, as I said, let me tell you about Patrick and Christy Klebeck Boggs from Saskatchewan, Canada, and their goddamn ties to the fucking disgusting shit Donald Wood was doing. And not only Donald. Tony Wins, Wendell Mason, yeah. Oh well.